The fluorescent lights of Madison Avenue's most exclusive boutique felt like interrogation lamps as the saleswoman's voice cut through the champagne-scented air. "We don't carry your size here, ma'am. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at a specialist store?" Every head in that boutique turned. Every phone came out. Every perfectly thin woman smirked behind her hand. Claire Bennett stood frozen in the center of that luxury prison, her curves suddenly feeling like crimes, her body a public spectacle of shame. But what that saleswoman didn't know was that standing in the corner, pretending to browse silk scarves, was Marcus Chen, founder of a $70 million online fashion empire. He'd been searching for someone real, someone powerful, someone whose body told a story of defiance. In 30 seconds, that humiliation would crack Claire's world wide open. In 3 weeks, she'd be the face that launched a revolution. If you believe that your body is not your limitation but your launching pad, hit that like button and follow this channel. Now, let me tell you exactly how a single moment of cruelty became the foundation of Claire's transformation. This is her story. Claire Bennett had spent 38 years apologizing for the space she occupied. She'd perfected the art of making herself smaller, not physically because her body refused to cooperate with that fantasy, but in every other way that mattered. She spoke softly in meetings at the marketing firm where she'd worked for 12 years. She ordered salads when she wanted burgers. She wore black, always black, because some magazine had told her it was slimming. Her apartment in Queens was decorated with vintage fashion magazines, a secret altar to a world that had never wanted her. She'd studied Vogue and Harper's Bazaar like scripture, memorizing the language of an industry that spoke in sizes 2 through 8, and pretended the rest of humanity didn't exist. But Claire had always believed that if she was just smart enough, talented enough, invisible enough, maybe one day she'd earn the right to exist in beautiful spaces too. The invitation had arrived on a Tuesday morning, embossed cardstock that smelled like expensive perfume. Her college roommate Jessica, now a successful corporate lawyer married to old money, was getting remarried in the Hamptons, black tie optional, ceremony at sunset on the beach. Claire had held that invitation like a lottery ticket, her heart racing with possibility and dread. She couldn't show up in another shapeless black dress. Not this time. For once, she wanted to feel beautiful. She'd saved for 3 months, squirreling away money from freelance design projects. $1,500, enough for one perfect dress from a real boutique, not a plus-size catalog with apologetic names. She wanted a dress from a store with a French name she couldn't pronounce, where thin women sipped champagne while shopping. Maison Delacroix sat on Madison Avenue like a jewel box, all glass and marble and gold fixtures that caught the afternoon sun. Claire had walked past it 100 times, always on the opposite side of the street, always telling herself someday. Today was someday. She'd worn her best jeans and a silk blouse she'd found at a consignment shop. She'd done her makeup carefully, armor painted on with steady hands. Her dark hair fell in waves around her shoulders. She'd practiced her smile in the mirror. She'd rehearsed her words. "I'm looking for something special for a wedding, something elegant. My budget is $1,500. Reasonable, respectful, not demanding anything she hadn't earned." As she pushed through the heavy glass door, a wave of cold air and expensive perfume hit her face. The boutique interior looked like a minimalist art gallery. White walls, floating racks with maybe 20 dresses total. A cream velvet sofa where 2 impossibly thin women sat with champagne flutes. Behind the counter, a saleswoman in her early 30s looked up from her iPad, her eyes scanning Claire from head to toe in 2 seconds flat. The saleswoman's name tag read, Margot, in delicate script. Her blonde hair was pulled back so tight it looked painful. Her black sheath dress probably cost more than Claire's monthly rent. She didn't smile as she approached, her heels clicking on the marble floor like a countdown. "Can I help you find something?" The words were technically polite, but the tone carried a question mark that felt like an accusation. Claire forced her practiced smile. "Yes, I'm looking for a dress for a wedding in the Hamptons. Something elegant, maybe a midi length. My budget is..." Margot cut her off with a small, tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I see. Well..." She glanced back at the other saleswoman, a younger redhead who had suddenly become very interested in straightening an already perfect rack of dresses. "The thing is, our collection runs quite European, very slim cut. We stock sizes 0 through 8. She paused, her eyes making another slow journey down Claire's body. "We don't carry your size here." The words landed like a slap. Claire felt her face flush hot. "Oh, I thought maybe I could try. Ma'am, Margot's voice rose slightly, loud enough that the two women on the sofa stopped their conversation. "We literally do not have anything in this store that would fit you. There's a Lane Bryant about 15 blocks from here. They specialize in—" She trailed off, but the unspoken words hung in the air like poison gas. Claire's throat closed. Her vision blurred at the edges. She was aware of the other customers staring now, phones in hands, probably filming. This would be on TikTok within the hour. "Fat woman tries to shop above her station." The comments would be vicious. "I just wanted something pretty," Claire heard herself say, her voice small and broken. She hated how weak she sounded. Margot's expression shifted to something almost pitying, which was worse than the contempt. "Honey, I'm sure you can find something pretty at a store that caters to your demographic. This just isn't the place, you understand." She said it like she was being kind, like she was doing Claire a favor by saving her from embarrassment. Behind Margot, the redhead saleswoman had her phone out now too, not even pretending to be subtle. That's when she heard it. A man's voice from the corner of the boutique near the accessories, sharp and clear as a bell. "Actually, she's exactly the right demographic. Your store's just in the wrong century." Every head turned. A man stepped out from behind a display of silk scarves. Tall, maybe early 40s, wearing jeans and a crisp white button-down, glasses perched on his nose. He wasn't traditionally handsome, but there was something magnetic about him, an intensity in his dark eyes. Margot's face went from shocked to irritated. "Excuse me, sir, but this is a private conversation. In a public store where you just loudly humiliated a paying customer?" The man's voice wasn't loud, but it carried authority. "I'm pretty sure that's a public conversation now." The man turned to Claire and his expression softened. "You came here looking for a dress for a wedding, right?" Claire nodded, not trusting her voice. He smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. "What's your name?" "Claire," she whispered. "Claire, my name is Marcus Chen. I own a fashion company called Radiant Curve. I've been looking for someone like you for 6 months. Someone real. Someone who knows what it's like to walk into stores like this and be treated like you're less than human. I want you to be the face of my fall campaign. I want your face on billboards in Times Square. What do you say?" The boutique had gone silent. Claire's heart hammered so hard she thought it might crack her ribs. This had to be a joke. Men like him didn't appear out of nowhere and offer women like her modeling contracts. "I'm not a model," she managed to say. "I'm a marketing analyst. You've never what? Been photographed? Been told you're beautiful? Been given a chance?" Marcus pulled a business card from his wallet and pressed it into her hand. "I'm serious, Claire. Come to my office tomorrow. 10 a.m. No pressure. Just coffee and conversation. If you're not interested after that, no hard feelings." Margot finally found her voice. "This is completely inappropriate. I'm calling security." "Go ahead," Marcus said, without looking at her. "And while you're at it, call your manager and explain why you just ran off a customer who was ready to spend $1,500. He kept his eyes on Claire. "What do you say? Give me 1 hour tomorrow." Claire looked down at the business card in her hand. Heavy cardstock, simple design. Marcus Chen, founder and CEO, Radiant Curve, redefining fashion for real bodies. An address in Midtown, proof that this moment was actually happening. She looked back up at his face, searching for the catch, but all she saw was patience, certainty, belief. "Okay," she heard herself say. "Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Marcus smiled, then turned to Margot. "And just so we're clear, Claire's about to become one of the most recognizable faces in fashion. When you see her on every bus and billboard in this city in 3 months, I want you to remember this moment." He gestured for Claire to walk with him toward the door. Outside on Madison Avenue, the sounds of the city rushed back in. Marcus turned to her on the sidewalk. "You okay?" Claire realized she was shaking, not from cold, from adrenaline, from shock, from something that felt dangerously like hope. "I don't understand why you do this for a stranger. Because 6 months ago, my sister walked into a store like that and had the same thing happen to her. She came home and cried for 3 hours. I'm done letting this industry destroy women. So when I saw what was happening in there, I knew. You're exactly who I've been looking for." Claire's hands were still trembling. "What if I'm terrible? Then we figure it out together," Marcus said simply. "But something tells me you're not going to freeze. Tomorrow's going to change your life." As his cab pulled away, Claire stood on the sidewalk, clutching that business card like a talisman. Around her, the city moved at its usual breakneck pace. But for Claire, time had stopped. Everything had just changed. Claire didn't sleep that night. She lay in her small bedroom in Queens, staring at the ceiling. Marcus's business card propped on her nightstand. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard Margot's voice. "We don't carry your size here." But now, layered over it, she heard Marcus's response. "Your store's just in the wrong century." Something was shifting inside her chest. Something hot and bright and terrifying. It wasn't shame anymore. It was rage. Pure, clean, righteous rage at every boutique that had made her feel like an intruder. Every saleswoman who'd looked through her like she was invisible. Every magazine that had taught her that her body was something to apologize for. She'd spent 38 years swallowing that poison. But what if she'd been wrong? What if the problem wasn't her body at all? At 6 a.m., Claire gave up on sleep and opened her laptop. She typed "radiant curve" into Google and watched the results flood her screen. The company was real. More than real. It was thriving. Marcus Chen had founded it 4 years ago after leaving a VP position at a major fashion house. The mission statement made her throat tight. "We don't make clothes for one body type. We make clothes for every body, designed with dignity, cut with precision, and priced fairly. Fashion is for everyone, or it's for no one." The website showed models in sizes 8 through 28, all professionally photographed, all stunning. There were editorial shoots in dramatic lighting, lifestyle photos in real settings, close-ups that showed texture and humanity. This wasn't the apologetic, matronly, plus-size fashion she'd grown up with. This was revolution dressed as retail. Claire spent 3 hours falling down the rabbit hole of Radiant Curve's social media. The Instagram account had 2 million followers. The comments section was a chorus of gratitude. "First time I felt seen. I cried when my order arrived and everything fit. You changed my life." There were video testimonials from customers, many in tears, talking about what it meant to find clothes that fit their bodies without making them feel like they were settling. Marcus himself appeared in several behind-the-scenes videos talking about construction techniques, fabric choices, why they hired fit models in every size. He spoke about fashion with reverence and precision, like it mattered, not as a frivolous industry for thin people, but as a fundamental expression of identity and dignity. Claire watched one interview where he said, "Clothing isn't just fabric, it's armor, it's language, it's how we tell the world who we are." By 9 a.m., Claire knew she was going to that meeting. She stood in front of her closet for 20 minutes, every outfit suddenly feeling wrong. Too apologetic, too careful. Finally, she grabbed a deep blue wrap dress she'd bought on sale 2 years ago and never worn. It hugged her curves instead of hiding them, and she'd always thought it was too bold. Today, it felt right. She paired it with simple black flats and silver earrings her grandmother had left her. She did her makeup with steady hands, but this time she didn't try to make herself smaller. She lined her eyes. She wore red lipstick. In the mirror, a stranger looked back at her, a woman who took up space without apologizing for it. The subway ride into Manhattan felt different. Claire didn't hunch her shoulders when the train got crowded. When a man in a suit gave her a dismissive once-over, she stared back until he looked away. A small victory, barely worth noting, but it felt seismic. The Radiant Curve offices occupied the 10th floor of a building in Midtown. The lobby was bright and modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. A receptionist who looked like she actually ate food smiled warmly when Claire gave her name. "Oh yes, Mr. Chen is expecting you. Can I get you coffee?" "Coffee would be great," Claire said, and her voice didn't shake. Marcus appeared in the doorway of a conference room, dressed casually in jeans and a gray sweater. "Claire, you came. You really thought I wouldn't?" she said, surprising herself with the directness. He grinned. "Honestly, I wasn't sure. A lot of women talk themselves out of it overnight." Marcus gestured for her to sit at the conference table. He took the chair across from her, not at the head, an equal position. "So, what exactly are you proposing?" Claire asked. Marcus pulled up a presentation on his laptop and turned the screen so she could see. "This is our fall campaign concept. It's called Reclaim. The idea is that fashion has been stolen from real women for too long, and we're taking it back. I don't want professional models who've been trained to pose. I want real women with real stories, women who know what it's like to be excluded." The screen showed mood boards, dramatic photography, urban settings, strong poses, text overlays with words like dignity, power, presence. Claire's heart rate picked up. "You want me to be in this? I want you to lead it," Marcus said. "You'd be our primary face. Your image in Times Square, in bus shelters, in magazines. We'd shoot for 2 weeks starting next month. We'd pay you $50,000 plus royalties. And I'd like to bring you on as a consultant for our marketing team. You're in marketing analysis, right?" We could use someone who understands the customer from the inside. $50,000. More money than she'd ever seen for 2 weeks of work. What's the catch? Claire asked. Marcus leaned back, studying her. The catch is that you'll be public, visible. Every person who's ever had an opinion about fat bodies will have an opinion about yours. The trolls will come. You'll become a symbol whether you want to or not. That's the cost of visibility. You stop getting to be just yourself. Claire looked down at her hands. I've spent 38 years invisible, she said quietly. Being told I don't fit, I don't belong. Maybe it's time to find out what happens if I stop hiding. When she looked up, Marcus was smiling. Then let's get started. For the next hour, Marcus walked her through the entire process. Test shots next week. A photographer named Lisa Moreno who specialized in making people feel beautiful. A stylist who understood bodies. The clothes would be fitted to Claire, not the other way around. No photoshopping beyond basic lighting. The goal was truth, not fantasy. Claire left the offices at noon, her head spinning, a contract in her bag that she'd signed with shaking hands. She walked to Central Park and sat on a bench near the Bethesda fountain. Her phone buzzed. A text from Jessica. OMG, Claire, did you find a dress yet? Wedding is in 3 weeks. Claire stared at that text for a long moment. 3 weeks ago, it would have filled her with shame and dread. Now, it just felt quaint. She typed back, got it covered. See you there. That afternoon, Claire did something she'd never done. She went back to Madison Avenue. Not to Maison Delacroix, but to the street itself. She walked slowly, looking in windows, not with longing, but with analytical detachment. She saw the sample sizes, the lack of diversity, the homogeneous fantasy they were all selling, and for the first time she didn't feel shame. She felt pity for an industry so terrified of change. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Claire Bennett? A woman's voice. Professional but nervous. This is Diane Ashford from Style and Substance magazine. A video from Maison Delacroix went viral yesterday. You were the woman who was turned away. I wanted to reach out for an interview. Claire's blood ran cold. A video went viral. You haven't seen it? It's got about 2 million views. Someone filmed the whole exchange, including Marcus Chen's intervention. People are furious with Maison Delacroix. This is a big moment for the body positivity movement. Claire hung up. She opened TikTok with dread. The video was right there. 2.3 million views. She pressed play and watched herself being humiliated in high definition. The comments were a war zone. Thousands defending her. Hundreds attacking. Of course she was turned away. Why do fat people always think rules don't apply? But others. This broke my heart. Everyone should be able to buy clothes. Who is this queen? Claire sat on a bench in Central Park watching the video loop, reading comments from strangers, and something inside her crystallized. This was the cost Marcus had warned her about. Visibility meant vulnerability, but it also meant power. 2 million people had just learned what it felt like to be humiliated for your body. And now she had a choice. Sink back into invisibility, or lean into it and use this attention. She called Marcus. He picked up on the first ring. You saw the video. Everyone's seen it. There's a reporter wanting to interview me. Do it, Marcus said immediately. Tell your story. This is the moment, Claire. Don't waste it. That night, Claire called Diane Ashford back and agreed to the interview. They scheduled it for the following week after the test shoot. Claire wanted photos to go with the article, not of her looking defeated, but powerful, beautiful, undeniable. Before bed, she did one more thing. She posted on her personal Instagram for the first time in months, sharing the viral video with a caption. This is me at Maison Delacroix yesterday, being told my body doesn't deserve beautiful clothes. This is also me deciding that I'm done apologizing for existing. Fashion is for everyone, or it's for no one. Stay tuned. She pressed post before she could second guess. Within an hour, she had 5,000 new followers and a flood of messages from women sharing their own stories. Claire read every single one, her anger burning brighter with each tale of cruelty. By the time she finally fell asleep at 2 a.m., she knew there was no going back. The old Claire, quiet, invisible, was gone. Something new was being born. The test shoot happened on a Wednesday morning in a Brooklyn studio with exposed brick walls and massive windows. Claire arrived 30 minutes early, stomach in knots. Lisa Moreno, the photographer, was a woman in her 50s with silver hair and warm brown eyes. She shook Claire's hand firmly. Ground rules. First, if you feel uncomfortable, we stop. No questions. This is collaborative, not directive. Second, we're going for powerful, not pretty. I want strength, not submission. Third, we're going to laugh. If you're not having fun, it will show. Claire felt tension leave her shoulders. "I've never done anything like this." "Good," Lisa said with a grin. "That means you haven't been trained to perform. We want authentic, not artificial." The stylist, River, approached with an armful of clothing. "I pulled options from the Power Edit collection. Structured pieces, bold colors, nothing apologetic. What speaks to you?" Claire looked through, and her breath caught. These weren't clothes designed to hide. They showcased wrap dresses that emphasized curves, tailored blazers that created strong lines, wide-legged pants that were elegant and commanding. She chose a deep emerald dress first, because green had always been her mother's favorite color. When she emerged from changing, River gasped, "Holy hell, you look like you could conquer nations." Claire looked in the full-length mirror and barely recognized herself. The dress fit perfectly. It moved with her body. The emerald color made her dark hair and eyes pop. For the first time, she looked in a mirror and didn't catalog flaws. She just looked present, real, there. The first few shots were awkward. Claire didn't know what to do with her hands. But Lisa was patient, playing music, making jokes until Claire relaxed. "Think about that saleswoman," Lisa said at one point. "Think about everyone who's made you feel small. Now imagine you're taking up all the space you deserve. Imagine you're untouchable." Something shifted. Claire squared her shoulders, lifted her chin, looked directly into the camera with all the rage she'd been bottling for 38 years. The camera clicked rapidly. "Yes," Lisa shouted. "That's it. Give me dangerous, give me I will destroy you." For 3 hours, Claire lost herself in the shoot. They moved through outfit changes, a crimson jumpsuit, a black cocktail dress, a white suit that made her feel like a CEO. With each look, she felt more powerful, more herself. During a break, Marcus appeared with coffee. He watched Claire from the doorway as she reviewed shots on Lisa's laptop, and the smile on his face was pure satisfaction. "You're a natural," he said. "I don't feel natural," Claire admitted. "I feel like I'm faking confidence." "That's what confidence is," Marcus said. "Faking it until it becomes real." The afternoon session moved outdoors. A rooftop in Dumbo with the Manhattan skyline behind her. A cobblestone street in Brooklyn Heights. Claire was aware of people watching, phones coming out, whispers and stares. But instead of shrinking, she expanded. Let them look. At one location, a teenage girl approached nervously. "Are you the woman from the Maison Delacroix video?" Claire's heart spiked. "Yes. I just wanted to say thank you. That video helped me. Seeing you stand up made me feel less alone." The girl's eyes were wet. Claire pulled her into a hug. "You're not alone, and you're beautiful, exactly as you are." When the girl walked away, Claire had to compose herself. This was bigger than her. By 6 p.m., Claire was exhausted but electric. Lisa showed her the highlights. Powerful images of a woman who looked fierce, confident, undeniable. "These are going to change everything," Lisa said quietly. "You ready?" "I don't know," Claire admitted, "but we're going to find out." The Style and Substance interview published the next week with photos from the test shoot. The article was titled, "We Don't Carry Your Size: How One Woman's Humiliation Sparked a Revolution." It went viral immediately. Claire's Instagram went from 5,000 to 200,000 followers in 3 days. The comments were overwhelming. Support, hate, inspiration, vitriol, everything. Strangers on the subway recognized her. A woman in Starbucks bought her coffee and whispered, "Thank you." A man on the street called her a fat cow. Claire learned to metabolize both, to let them flow through without sticking. Then came the message. Maison Delacroix requested a meeting. The email was formal, cold. "We'd like to discuss the recent incident and explore a resolution." Claire forwarded it to Marcus. He called immediately. "Don't go alone, I'm coming." And we're dictating terms. They scheduled the meeting for Friday afternoon. Claire wore the emerald dress from the shoot, the one that made her feel invincible. Marcus wore a suit, armor of a different kind. They walked into Maison Delacroix at 3 p.m., and Claire felt like a gunslinger returning to the scene of a duel. Margot was nowhere in sight. Instead, they were greeted by Richard Delacroix, the owner. 60s, gray hair, expensive suit, corporate smile. "Ms. Bennett, Mr. Chen, thank you for coming." They were led to a private office. Richard gestured for them to sit. Claire remained standing. "I'll be brief," Richard began. "The incident was regrettable. The associate has been terminated. We're implementing sensitivity training. We'd like to offer you a $5,000 gift certificate as an apology." "No," Claire said. Her voice was steady. Marcus smiled. Richard blinked. "I'm sorry? I don't want your gift certificate. I don't want your apology. I want change. Claire stepped closer to his desk. You're going to expand your size range. Stock sizes to at least 16. Train your staff on respect. And make a public statement acknowledging the harm you've caused. Richard's expression hardened. Ms. Bennett, Maison Delacroix is a luxury brand. Our aesthetic is discriminatory. Marcus cut in. 70% of American women wear a size 14 or above. You're leaving money on the table while pretending it's about standards. We have a brand identity to protect, Richard said stiffly. Your brand identity is cruelty, Claire said. You've built a business on making women feel inadequate. That's not luxury. That's exploitation, and it's over. Richard stood, face flushed. I think this meeting is concluded. I don't want your settlement. Claire's voice rose. I want you to look at me and acknowledge what you did. I came as a paying customer and your employee humiliated me. Not because I was rude, because my body didn't meet your standards. Say it. Say it out loud. The office went silent. Richard's jaw worked. Finally, he sighed. Fine, yes. What happened was unacceptable. You were treated poorly because of your size. I'm sorry. Apology accepted, Claire said. Now here's what happens. You expand your size range, or Radiant Curve opens a pop-up directly across the street. We'll show every customer you turn away that they have options. We'll make you irrelevant. Richard's eyes widened. You can't do that. Watch me, Marcus said. I've already secured the lease. We open in 3 weeks right before Fashion Week. Claire's going to be standing in our window, in a dress you refuse to sell her, looking stunning. Every woman you've rejected is going to walk into ours. How's that for brand identity? The color drained from Richard's face. You're serious. Dead serious, Claire said. You had a chance to evolve. You chose profit over people. Now you compete with people who understand the market. She turned to leave, then paused. And Margot? The saleswoman you fired? Radiant Curve is hiring her. Everyone deserves a second chance to learn. That's the difference between us and you. Claire walked out with Marcus beside her, and this time she didn't feel humiliated. She felt powerful, vindicated, free. Outside, Marcus burst into laughter. You just declared war. Good, Claire said. Let's go to war. The pop-up was Marcus's idea, but Claire helped design every aspect. They found a space directly across from Maison Delacroix. Glass windows, modern interior, perfect visibility. They called it Radiant Curve, the reclaimed space. The next 2 weeks were a hurricane. Claire quit her marketing job. They tried to convince her to stay, but she was done with that small life. She went all in, helping design the pop-up, coordinating window displays, writing marketing copy. The full fall campaign launched simultaneously. Billboards went up in Times Square featuring Claire in that emerald dress, looking powerful. Bus shelters showed her in various outfits. Fashion is for every body. Reclaim your space. Beauty has no size limit. The response was explosive. Radiant Curve's website crashed from traffic. Orders flooded in. The waiting list for the pop-up opening grew to thousands, but the backlash was vicious. Think pieces questioned, glorifying obesity. Conservative pundits used Claire as an example of woke culture gone too far. Trolls sent death threats. Claire learned to mute, block, keep moving. For every hateful message, there were 10 messages of gratitude from women who'd never seen themselves represented before. The night before the opening, Claire couldn't sleep. She lay in her apartment and thought about how radically her life had changed in 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, she'd been invisible. Now she was on billboards. Now she was making headlines. Now she was starting a war. Her phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Ready to change the world tomorrow? She typed back, ready as I'll ever be. She knew the truth. Nobody was ever really ready for revolution. You just showed up and did it anyway. The morning of the opening, Claire put on a custom midnight blue Radiant Curve dress that made her feel like art. She looked in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. This woman took up space, didn't apologize, was dangerous. At 9 a.m., Claire and Marcus stood in front of the pop-up as a line of customers stretched down the block. Across the street, Maison Delacroix's windows looked cold and empty by comparison. The press was there. Cameras, reporters, bloggers, influencers. This wasn't just a store opening. This was a statement. Marcus cut the ribbon with Claire beside him. The doors opened. Women flooded in. All sizes, all ages, all backgrounds. The energy was electric. Claire watched as customer after customer found clothes that fit, that flattered, that made them feel beautiful. She watched women cry in fitting rooms. She watched friends hug. She watched a mother help her teenage daughter find a prom dress, both in tears because they'd never had this experience, shopping without shame. At one point, Claire looked out the window and saw Margot standing across the street, staring at the crowd with an unreadable expression. Their eyes met through the glass. Margot looked away first. By noon, the pop-up had made $50,000 in sales. By 3 p.m., they'd doubled that. By closing, they'd sold out half their inventory. It was the most successful opening Radiant Curve had ever had. That evening, exhausted and exhilarated, Claire stood in the empty shop with Marcus, surveying the chaos of success. "We did it," she said quietly. "No," Marcus corrected. "You did it. I just gave you the platform. You showed up and changed everything." Claire looked out at Madison Avenue, at the city lights, at Maison Delacroix going dark across the street. She thought about the woman she'd been 3 weeks ago. Scared, small, apologetic. That woman was gone. In her place was someone powerful, someone who'd learned that the only thing scarier than taking up space was staying invisible forever. The success of the pop-up was just the beginning. Within a month, Radiant Curve announced a partnership with a major department store chain to launch dedicated plus-size sections in 200 locations nationwide. Claire was named Director of Brand Experience, a role Marcus created specifically for her, combining her marketing expertise with her lived experience. Her job was to make sure every customer had the dignified shopping experience she'd been denied. The media tour was relentless. Claire appeared on morning shows, podcasts, and magazine spreads. She told her story over and over. Some interviewers were supportive, others were hostile. A cable news host asked if she was encouraging women to be unhealthy. Claire looked directly into the camera. "I'm encouraging women to exist without shame. If you think that's controversial, the problem is you, not me." The clip went viral. Claire moved into a new apartment in Chelsea, bright, spacious, with big windows. She decorated with fashion photography, plants, art from local artists. For the first time, her home felt like celebration rather than hiding place. She hosted dinner parties, wore bright colors, took up space without apology. But internal work was harder, slower, messier. Claire started therapy with a psychologist specializing in body image and trauma. She unpacked decades of internalized fat phobia, messages absorbed from magazines and movies and doctors and family. She grieved years spent hating herself. She mourned experiences missed because she thought she didn't deserve them. Slowly, painfully, she learned to see her body not as enemy but as home. There were still hard days. Days when she looked in the mirror and heard Margot's voice. Days when trolls got under her skin. Days when she wondered if she was a fraud, if she was doing more harm than good. On one difficult day, Claire called Marcus in tears. "I don't know if I can keep doing this. The scrutiny, the criticism, the constant judgment. Maybe I'm not strong enough." Marcus was quiet. Then, strength isn't about never breaking down. It's about breaking down and still showing up the next day. You're allowed to struggle, Claire. You're allowed to be human. That's what makes you powerful. You're not pretending this is easy. You're showing that transformation is messy and painful and worth it anyway. That conversation became Claire's anchor. She kept showing up. The fall campaign was so successful that Radiant Curve launched a winter collection early, with Claire as the face. This time the shoot was in Iceland. Dramatic landscapes, Claire in flowing gowns and structured coats, looking like a queen. The photos were breathtaking. One image became iconic. Claire on a black sand beach, waves crashing, wearing a crimson coat billowing in wind. Her expression fierce, unapologetic, powerful. The photo was used in museums, fashion textbooks, retrospectives about the body positivity movement. It became the image that defined an era. Around this time, Claire received an invitation that made her laugh. It was from a major fashion magazine, the one she'd read religiously as a teenager, that had taught her her body was unacceptable. They wanted to feature her in their annual Power issue. The irony was delicious. Claire agreed, but on her terms. She insisted on approval of photographer, stylist, copy. She insisted they not retouch beyond basic lighting. She insisted on telling her story in her own words. The magazine agreed. The shoot was collaborative, respectful, beautiful. When the issue came out, Claire was on the cover, the first woman over size 12 to ever appear on that magazine's cover in its 70-year history. The headline, Claire Bennett, the woman who changed fashion forever. Inside was a 10-page spread showing her body in full, unretouched reality. The accompanying essay written by Claire was raw and honest about her journey from shame to power. The response was overwhelming. The issue sold out within days. The editor-in-chief defended the cover on television against critics who said it was promoting obesity. She said, "We're promoting the revolutionary idea that all bodies deserve dignity and representation. If that makes you uncomfortable, examine why." Claire framed that cover and hung it in her apartment right next to a photo of herself as a teenager. Awkward, uncomfortable, trying to disappear. The contrast was stark. That teenager had no idea she'd one day be on the cover of the magazine she studied like scripture, that she'd be changing the industry that tried to erase her. Around this time, Claire reconnected with Jessica, her college friend whose wedding had catalyzed everything. Jessica called, apologetic and amazed. "I've been following everything. I can't believe what you've done. I'm sorry I didn't see what you were going through." "It's okay," Claire said, meaning it. "I didn't see it either. I'd normalized my own erasure." Jessica's wedding in the Hamptons happened in September. Claire arrived in a custom radiant curve gown, flowing ethereal champagne silk that made her look like a goddess. She walked into that wedding with her head high, and the reaction was immediate. Whispers, stares, phones coming out. But this time, the attention didn't make her shrink. She let people look, let them photograph, let them see she belonged in this beautiful space, wearing this beautiful dress, taking up space without apology. During the reception, several women approached, women from college who'd always been thin and conventionally beautiful. They told her they'd been following her journey, that she'd opened their eyes. One woman, drunk on champagne and honesty, said, "I always thought you were so lucky you didn't have to worry about what you ate. I didn't realize you were worrying all the time, just differently. I'm sorry." Claire hugged her. "Now you see it. So do better." The business side of Radiant Curve was exploding. By October, they'd opened 15 permanent retail locations. Revenue had tripled. Marcus announced international expansion plans. Claire was instrumental in every decision. She consulted on store layouts, marketing campaigns, customer service training. She made sure every detail centered dignity. She also started a mentorship program, pairing plus-size women interested in fashion with industry professionals. She gave talks at design schools, challenging the next generation to create for all bodies from the beginning. She became a voice not just for Radiant Curve, but for a movement. Then came an unexpected development. A producer from a major streaming platform reached out. They wanted to make a documentary about Claire's journey, from the humiliation at Maison Delacroix, to the launch of Radiant Curve, to the cultural impact. They wanted to tell how one woman's worst moment became her greatest triumph. Claire was hesitant. A documentary meant even more visibility, more vulnerability. It meant letting cameras into every aspect of her life. But Marcus encouraged her. "This is how you make sure the story doesn't get co-opted or distorted. You control the narrative. You tell the truth. And 10 years from now, when the next generation fights this battle, they'll have proof that change is possible." Claire agreed. The filming was intense. Months of interviews, B-roll of daily life, recreations of key moments. They interviewed Marcus, Lisa, even tracked down Margot for a painful conversation about what she'd learned. They interviewed women whose lives had been changed by Radiant Curve. They interviewed critics. They built a comprehensive portrait of a cultural moment. During one interview, the director asked, "What would you say to the woman you were a year ago, standing in Maison Delacroix being humiliated?" Claire thought for a long moment. "I'd tell her that the humiliation isn't the end of her story. It's the beginning. I'd tell her that her body isn't her limitation. It's her power. I'd tell her that visibility is terrifying, but invisibility is worse. And I'd tell her that in less than a year, she's going to be on billboards in Times Square, changing an entire industry, proving that fashion is for everyone, or it's for no one." By November, Claire's life had stabilized into a new normal. She was no longer shocked when strangers recognized her. She'd learned to metabolize praise and criticism. She'd built a community of women who supported each other, who refused to apologize for existing. She'd found purpose in advocacy, in using her platform to amplify other voices. But there was still one unfinished piece, one ghost from her past. Maison Delacroix. The boutique was struggling. After the viral video and negative publicity and Radiant Curve's success, their sales had plummeted. Richard had been forced to close 2 other locations. The flagship was hanging on, barely. Claire had avoided that block for months, not ready to face it. But now, with the documentary filming and her transformation complete, it was time. She told the crew she wanted to go back, to close the circle, to face where it all began. They set up cameras discreetly. Claire walked toward Maison Delacroix on a cold December afternoon, wearing the emerald dress from her first shoot, the one that started everything. Her heart pounded as she approached the glass door, but her hand didn't shake as she pulled it open. The boutique was nearly empty. A new saleswoman, young, nervous, looked up as Claire entered. Recognition flashed. "Ms. Bennett," she said quickly, "I just wanted to say, I've been following your work. What you've done is incredible. I'm studying fashion design and you've inspired me to focus on inclusive sizing." Claire smiled. "That's good to hear. Is Richard here? Mr. Delacroix?" "Yes, he's in his office." "I'll show myself back," Claire said. She walked through the boutique that had once felt like enemy territory. Now it just felt sad, dated, a relic of a dying era. Richard's office door was open. He looked up as she appeared, surprise crossing his face. "Claire." "Richard." She stepped inside without being invited. "I wanted to talk." He gestured to a chair. This time she sat. They looked at each other across the desk. Two people on opposite sides of a war. "I assume you've come to gloat," Richard said wearily. "Business hasn't been great." "I didn't come to gloat," Claire said. "I came to offer you a deal. Radiant Curve is looking to acquire a high-end boutique space for a flagship. Your Madison Avenue location would be perfect. We'd pay fair market value. You'd exit gracefully. And this building, which has been a symbol of discrimination for decades, becomes a symbol of inclusion instead." Richard stared. "You want to buy my store?" "I want to transform it," Claire corrected. "I want every woman who has ever turned away to walk back in and find clothes that celebrate her body. I want to take this space that caused pain and make it a place of joy." Richard was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he sighed. "You've won, Claire. You've proven your point. The industry is changing. I'm old, I'm tired, and maybe I'm ready to admit I was wrong." "It's not about winning," Claire said gently. "It's about evolution. You can evolve too. You can learn. You can be part of the solution instead of the problem. By selling you my store, by acknowledging that you built your business on an exclusionary model that hurt people, by choosing to let something better take its place." Richard looked around his office at the fashion sketches, the photographs of thin models, the artifacts of an era ending. "I'll consider your offer," he said finally. Claire stood. "I'll have Marcus send over the paperwork. And Richard, thank you for letting me prove you wrong." As she walked out of Maison Delacroix for the last time, Claire felt a weight lift. The place that had humiliated her no longer had power. She'd taken that power back. The documentary crew was waiting outside. The director asked, "How does it feel?" Claire looked back at the boutique, then at the Radiant Curve pop-up across the street, now being renovated into a permanent flagship. "It feels like coming full circle," she said. "It feels like justice." The documentary, titled Reclaim: The Claire Bennett Story, premiered at Sundance in January and received a standing ovation. It was acquired by a major streaming platform and released globally in March. Within the first week, it was the #1 watched documentary in 40 countries. The cultural impact was immediate and profound. Radiant Curve's sales exploded. Other fashion brands scrambled to expand size ranges. Luxury boutiques that had ignored plus-size customers suddenly began stocking larger sizes. Industry publications ran features on the Claire Bennett effect. Fashion Week organizers began requiring diversity in body types. Claire became more than a model or brand ambassador. She became a symbol of a movement. She spoke at the United Nations about body diversity as a human rights issue. She testified before Congress about discrimination in retail. She wrote a memoir that became an instant bestseller. She used every platform to amplify voices of women marginalized by the fashion industry. But amid all the success, Claire stayed grounded. She never forgot where she came from. The woman standing in Maison Delacroix being told she didn't fit. She carried that woman with her always, a reminder of what was at stake. In April, Radiant Curve officially acquired the Maison Delacroix flagship location. Claire oversaw every detail of renovation. They stripped out the cold aesthetic and replaced it with warmth. Rich colors, comfortable seating, diverse mannequins in sizes 6 through 28. They installed full-length mirrors without cruel fluorescent lighting. They trained staff extensively on serving all customers with dignity and respect. And in a deliberate act of poetic justice, Claire hired Margot. The former saleswoman who'd humiliated her was given a second chance, with extensive education on fat phobia, body diversity, and inclusive service. Margot was hesitant at first, ashamed of her past behavior, but Claire saw potential for growth. for redemption. We all carry the poison of this culture, Claire told her. The question is whether we're willing to do the work to detoxify. Are you? Margot was. She became one of Radiant Curve's most passionate employees, channeling her regret into advocacy. She often spoke at training sessions about her journey from perpetuating discrimination to fighting it. The grand reopening of the former Maison Delacroix space, now Radiant Curve Madison Avenue, was scheduled for May 15th. It was designed as celebration, triumph, reclamation. Claire arrived early that morning, before the crowds, before the press, before the ceremony. She stood alone in the middle of the store, remembering. This was where she'd been humiliated, where the worst moment of her life had happened. But this was also where her transformation had begun, where she'd met Marcus, where she'd found her rage and her purpose. The space had been exorcised of its cruelty. Now it was beautiful, not the cold, intimidating beauty of exclusion, but the warm, welcoming beauty of inclusion. Marcus found her there, lost in thought. "You okay?" "More than okay," Claire said. "I was just thinking about how much has changed in a year." "You've changed the world in a year," Marcus corrected. "Not just the fashion industry, the culture. You've made space for millions of women who never had space before." "We've made space," Claire said. "I couldn't have done any of this without you believing in me. I just saw what was already there," Marcus said. "You were always powerful. You just needed permission to claim it." The ceremony began at noon. Hundreds crowded Madison Avenue. Customers, press, supporters, plus-size activists from around the country. Claire stood at the ribbon with Marcus beside her and looked out at the sea of faces. Women of all sizes, all ages, all backgrounds. Women who'd been told their whole lives they didn't belong. Today they belonged. Claire spoke without notes, her voice steady and strong. "A year ago I walked into a boutique on this exact spot and was told, 'We don't carry your size here.' Those words were meant to shame me, to put me in my place, to remind me that fashion, that beauty, that dignity weren't for bodies like mine." She paused, letting the weight settle. But something happened in that moment of humiliation. I got angry. And anger, when channeled correctly, is the most powerful fuel for change. So I decided to stop apologizing for my body. I decided to stop waiting for permission to exist. I decided to take up space without shame. And with Marcus Chen and Radiant Curve, I decided to build a world where no woman ever has to hear those words again. The crowd erupted in applause. Claire continued, her voice rising. "This store, this space that once symbolized exclusion, is now a symbol of revolution. Every woman, regardless of size, will walk through these doors and find clothes that celebrate her body, will be treated with dignity, will be reminded that fashion is for everyone or it's for no one. This is what reclamation looks like. This is what justice looks like. Welcome to Radiant Curve Madison Avenue." She cut the ribbon with ceremonial scissors, and the crowd surged forward. The energy was electric. Women flooding in, some in tears, some in triumph, all in celebration. Claire watched as customer after customer found clothes that fit, that made them feel beautiful, that honored their bodies. She watched women hug each other in fitting rooms. She watched mothers and daughters shop together without shame. She watched strangers become friends over shared experiences of discrimination and the joy of finally being seen. At one point, an older woman approached Claire with tears streaming down her face. "I'm 67 years old," she said. "I have never, not once in my entire life, walked into a high-end boutique and been treated like I mattered. Until today. Thank you for giving me this before I die." Claire hugged her tightly, her own eyes wet. This was why the work mattered. This was why the visibility and vulnerability and constant scrutiny were worth it. For moments like this, for women who'd waited their entire lives to be treated with basic human dignity, the day was a blur of emotion and celebration. By evening, the store had made record-breaking sales. The press coverage was overwhelmingly positive. Social media exploded with videos and photos of women celebrating their bodies, wearing Radiant Curve, tagging Claire with messages of gratitude. That night, exhausted and exhilarated, Claire returned to her apartment. She poured a glass of wine and stood at her window, looking out at the city lights. Her phone buzzed with hundreds of messages, but one stood out. It was from her mother, who she hadn't spoken to in months. Her mother had always been critical of her weight, always suggesting diets and ways to improve herself. Their relationship had been strained. The message read, "I watched the documentary. I saw the reopening on the news. I'm proud of you, Claire, and I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much pain I caused with my comments over the years. You've taught me that I was wrong. Can we talk? Claire stared at that message for a long time. Forgiveness wasn't automatic. The wounds ran deep. But maybe this was part of the work too. Not just changing the industry, but changing the people close to her, helping them understand, creating space for growth and redemption. She typed back, "Yes, let's talk. I love you." By fall, a year after the humiliation at Maison Delacroix, Claire received an invitation that made her laugh out loud. It was from the Council of Fashion Designers of America, the most prestigious organization in American fashion. They wanted to honor her with their humanitarian award for her work advancing body diversity and inclusion. The ceremony was black tie, held at the Museum of Modern Art, attended by every major player in the fashion industry. Claire wore a custom gown, a masterpiece in midnight blue with intricate beading that caught the light like stars. She wore her curves without apology. She walked the red carpet with her head held high, photographers shouting her name, flashbulbs exploding. Inside the ceremony, surrounded by designers and models and executives who'd spent decades upholding the very standards she was dismantling, Claire felt a sense of surreal triumph. When her name was called, the applause was thunderous. She walked to the stage, accepted the award from a legendary designer who'd recently committed to size inclusivity, and looked out at the sea of faces. Some admired her, some resented her, all of them saw her. At the podium, Claire held the Crystal Award and took a slow breath. "A year ago," she began, her voice steady and clear, "I walked into a boutique on Fifth Avenue looking for a dress. I was told they didn't carry my size. I was humiliated, dismissed, made to feel like my body was a problem that needed to be hidden." She paused, but that moment didn't break me. It woke me up. It reminded me that I wasn't the only woman being told she didn't belong, that her body wasn't good enough, that she needed to change before she deserved respect. Claire's eyes swept the room. Fashion has power. It tells us who matters, who's beautiful, who gets to take up space. And for too long, it's told millions of women that they don't. Her voice rose with passion. But we're changing that. One campaign, one collection, one conversation at a time. And I'm here tonight, not just for myself, but for every woman who's ever been made to feel invisible. The applause erupted again, louder this time, and Claire felt tears prick her eyes. She thanked Marcus, her team, her family, and walked off the stage feeling like she was floating. Claire's journey from that humiliating moment in Maison Delacroix to standing on that stage holding the fashion industry's highest honor wasn't just about personal triumph. It was about using pain as fuel, about refusing to accept the narrative that her body was wrong, about understanding that the only thing that needed to change was the system itself. She'd built an empire not just of clothing, but of dignity, of representation, of hope. And in doing so, she'd proven that fashion could be for everyone, or it was for no one at all. Today, Radiant Curve is a $100 million company with stores in 20 cities and a global online presence. But more importantly, it's a movement, a reminder that beauty isn't one size, that worthiness isn't conditional, and that every body deserves to be celebrated. Claire Bennett took her worst moment and transformed it into a legacy that would inspire generations. She proved that visibility, even when terrifying, is always more powerful than invisibility. And she reminded millions of women that they are enough, exactly as they are. Claire Bennett's transformation from humiliation to empire wasn't just about fashion or success. It was about reclaiming power in a world that tried to take it away. It was about refusing to be small, silent, or sorry. And it was about transforming pain into purpose, shame into strength, and invisibility into a legacy that would change an entire industry. Her story proves that your worst moment doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Your body is not your limitation. Your voice matters. Your story isn't over. You are more than enough, exactly as you are. And anyone who tells you otherwise doesn't deserve a place in your life. Remember, they tried to shame her. They tried to silence her. They tried to erase her. But she refused to disappear, and she built an empire instead. If this story moved you, leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Subscribe for more stories of women who refuse to be small, because in a world that profits from your insecurity, your confidence is the most revolutionary act of all. See you in the next one.